Hey guys, I'm Mama Bear to Many. I am mom to 15 children, and I am here at Children's Hospital with my 15th son who has trisomy 18. And so a lot of you have asked different questions as far as the other kids go and what we are doing as far as homeschooling goes. Some of you recommended maybe that we put our kids into public school or into a private school. One beautiful thing about homeschooling is you can do it your way. And so I'm going to kind of just go over what our plans are, what we're doing, all that type of stuff. So the first point that I'm going to make is the way that we homeschool. We unschool or child-led homeschool. Excuse me, I just ate lunch. It's literally sitting right here. Child-led. So now I'm like burping because I tried to eat real fast so I could do this so I can go back and snuggle my baby. Anyway. We had a nice snuggle this morning. It was so sweet. And we put him in clothes for the first time. He is so adorable. I'm a little partial, but he is so adorable. So, homeschooling. We homeschool all of our children. Some of them are already graduated. Some of them are not. Some of them are taking college classes. Some of them are not. Some of them are doing independent things after college, and some of them are not. So I want to say something about, first off, hands-on homeschooling. We like to take the approach of doing a lot of things hands-on. So that means getting out there in the real world, doing the real things, seeing the real things, touching the real things, maybe experimenting with the real things. And that is something that is huge in our household. So because we are trapped in Boston, because we're in Boston, a huge part of our experience here is going to be experiencing things in Boston as well as experiencing things at our other location, which is close to Wells, Maine, which is ocean-y type area. I need to research that a little bit more because I have a long list of want-to-dos in Boston. So, one thing that I want to mention is the average student does not even have one field trip a year. Let's just say they did have one field trip a year and their parents didn't take them on vacations or didn't take them to go do things. I think that that's just a different thing. They would need to learn a lot more things, like from maybe reading a textbook or reading real books, or things would be different. So also, most public school students are not loving reading. They're not, like, in their free time, they want to play on gaming systems. They're really into sports and those types of things. Nothing wrong with that stuff. I'm just saying, like, that's like their thing. So our children are a little bit different. Our goal for our children is for them to love learning and for them to learn how to learn. So nobody teaches a baby like how to walk, but we can take their two fingers and let them walk with us, and that encourages them to walk. We can say, "Yay, you did that," and that encourages them. But nobody's telling them, okay, you have to pick up your right foot, now your left, now your right, now your left. Nobody really says that, right, for most children. So I think learning is the same way. I think that we're naturally, innately in us, we have learning. And if that's not taken out of us, then we are going to have that love of learning and that passion inside of us. But really, like, when we go to public school, we're actually taught more not to like love learning, but to actually like learn how to memorize and recite. So we learn what's in the textbook, we memorize that, and then we recite it out for a test or for a teacher or for whatever it might be. Well, homeschooling, the way that we are homeschooling, which is child-led homeschooling, is more teaching the kids how to find tools and resources and providing those tools and resources so that our children can learn what they want to learn and also learn what we're learning about as a family. So because we're in Boston and we plan on doing different things, there's so many things going on right now. I ordered 5 new books this morning, all surrounding Boston. I am currently reading a book, it's My America, it's the Revolutionary War, and I'm reading it out loud to my newborn baby. And I'm reading that out loud to him. You guys probably, if you've seen me before, nothing weird about videoing yourself in public. So if you've seen me before, you would know that I read the Paul Revere story to Azariah the baby, and then now the kids are reading that at home, and then that will get passed on to the other house that we have, and they will read that. So I'm doing the same type of thing with the Revolutionary War book. I'm going to read that, and then we'll pass it along, and then we get to talk about it when we're like hanging out together or whatever. We get to talk about what they found in there or whatever. So we read the Paul Revere book, and then we actually just went to Paul Revere's house and found out lots of information about Paul Revere. We went to Old North Church, and we followed part of the Freedom Trail over there. So we learned lots of history, and not only did we learn it via a book, via like a whole testimony. I ended up picking up a couple other books on Paul Revere, but we actually got to like walk there and touch and feel, and the children get to know more things about Paul Revere than probably most people. Did you know that Paul Revere had 16 children? Yeah, he did. Did you know that he had one wife that died after she had 8 children, and that quite a few of his children died early? Yeah, kind of cool. Not kind of cool that happened, but kind of cool to learn out more information rather than, Midnight Riot of Paul Revere. But to actually learn about the person behind it. The house that is Paul Revere's house also had more history beyond that. And then they were the city of Boston actually was going to demolish the house. And somebody from Paul Revere's family actually got the funds together to fix it up. So it could be I guess you'd call it like a museum or whatever. So kind of cool. That's the way we like learning. That's like part of our life. That's so, it's so hands-on. They'll remember that. Like, just think right now, like of any field trips that you went on as a child. I can remember I went to Old Sturbridge Village. I can remember doing that. I remember thinking the rock was so tiny. Anyway, so as like individuals, we tend not to think of school as like hands-on activities. We think of school as far as like a textbook and opening a textbook in order to teach someone something, but really people learn in a lot of different ways. A lot of times, like if you want to learn nowadays, how do you learn? Do you open a textbook? Do you watch a movie? Do you listen to something audiobook? What do you do? Do you go visit someplace? Like, how do you learn the information that you want to learn? That's how my children are learning. They're learning to understand the way that they learn best and go from there. New day. So I remembered I went to Old Sturbridge Village, but it wasn't really Old Sturbridge Village. It was Plymouth Plantation, and we went to see like the rock that the Pilgrims landed on, and it was kind of like, okay, that's the rock. It just seemed so small compared to like what it was kind of hyped up to me. So new day, we are talking. I wrote some notes down on what I was thinking because I had some people that came into the break room, and I was like, okay, let me just make some notes, and then we'll do this hopefully another day when things are a little more quiet. So back to what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing would be, so if I were to say that I was going to take the kids on an adventure, on travel adventures or something for, say, 2 or 3 months, then I think most people would be like, oh, that's awesome. Like, you're going to give them such a learning opportunity. Instead, we actually are doing with the children, we have a son who's in the NICU, and maybe we're not going on this huge adventure, but it really is an adventure if you look at it that way. So the kids will be like engulfed in this whole historic region of Boston, and to me that is so amazing. We'll also be doing things around southern Maine And yeah, so I think that it's just an opportunity. We've been here, let's see, the baby turned 6 weeks yesterday, and we've already been to the New England Aquarium. We went yesterday to the zoo, which will have a video coming up. We went to Paul Revere's house. We have studied lots of books around this area and time frame, and we plan on doing maybe like the USS Constitution, like more of the Freedom Trail, visiting different libraries, visiting different historical sites. There's tons of knowledge and tons of history in where we're at, so we're just embracing that and bringing that into our homeschool. Another thing is I'm not raising children to want to learn things just for a test. So in the regular public school setting, pretty much children learn things in order to be able to recite those things. I'm teaching my children to be lifelong learners because we don't stop learning. My children see me learning all the time. Are you still learning? I mean, as an adult, like, are you still learning? Most of us are. Some people choose not to learn new things, which I've seen like different studies and stuff as far as not learning continually can cause some parts of the brain not to like open up, basically. And so anyway, we are constantly learning. I am constantly learning. I challenge myself all the time to learn new things with my children and without my children. And if my children don't know how to do something, then I am going to teach them how to do something, or we're going to learn together if I do not know how to do it. So I think raising learners from a young age. So a 2-year-old learning to walk, they want to know about this and that and this and that. And so just showing them as they get older and they ask questions, answer those why questions. And that's how we teach our children to love learning. Encourage them to ask questions. I think that's almost contradictory. Is that the right word? It is early in the morning. I think it's almost against the norm to have children like ask questions to answer those in order to be like schooling. But schooling doesn't equal education either. I want to educate my children to be lifelong learners. So it's just a different like mind philosophy. So a lot of my children who have been doing this for years are already on the ball. They already have chosen curriculum for the year, and they're continuing to do that because they want to learn. Like, one of the big things is like, I don't have to force my children to do schooling. No, I'm teaching them to love learning so that they want to do it. So it's not, hey, you have to do this at this time. It's like almost trying to pull your children away from learning. And you would think, I think in like, I never thought that that could be possible because of the way that I grew up in a public school setting, that somebody might enjoy, even children with disabilities might enjoy like learning so much because they're encouraged to ask questions, they're encouraged to learn. So a lot of my children already are doing so many things on their own. They've picked their curriculum, they've asked for different resources, they've been asking to watch certain types of movies on how to do certain things, and yeah, so they are their own educators. So to have somebody come in and want to train my children to obey what they want to do, or to learn what they want to learn, is not like going to be our style during this period. We are just going to continue to encourage, and that's going to be challenging, right? Like, because I'm not there 24/7. They can't just like come sit next to me on the couch and be like, hey mom, I was thinking about this. No, it's going to require, we just had a discussion yesterday, like, call me. If there's anything, call me, and I'll call you too. And I'm going to like schedule out times when I'm calling the children to have like in-depth conversations. We also are working on this whole rotation thing. I think that also leads into the whole thing of, why would I just not send all my kids home and stay here? I'm going to be here a while. Azariah is going to be here a while, so I'm not going to stay here for a couple months and just forget about my children. Like, that's not my life, that's not my family, that's not how we do things, how we roll. I am a very hands-on mom, and I want to be available for my children. I want to be available for if they want to chat with me, and I want to be available if you're having a hard time to be within driving distance to give them a hug. So that's what we're doing and why we're doing it. So they're already working on a lot of things themselves. All their schoolwork now is down here. There was an issue a little bit with, like, we hadn't had all the kids' schoolwork because we went from camping to whatever, and they didn't bring their book type stuff that they wanted. So that's all down here now. A lot of like reader type books are down here. So everyone's working on a book. And I just ordered some more books through Thrift Books, which I'm super excited about because they're all surrounding Boston. And so those are going to be exciting. I'm reading the beginning of My America Revolutionary War with Azariah, and then I'm going to send that to the other kids. All right, I wrote notes, so now you guys see what I wrote. I saw this quote the other day, and it says, "Children given the opportunity are lifelong learners." And I love that. I think that is so true. So true. So let's see. Okay, other things that we are doing is, well, let's just go back a little bit. So in a public school setting, you learn 5 subjects, but is life 5 subjects? Some places you learn more, but the main focus is English, math, science, social studies, and physical education. And it used to be different, like for time periods before, there would be, like, even when I was in school, there was like woodworking and like sewing and those types of things. Those are all taken out of the class, but who's to say what's more important? Yeah, I'm trying to finish this video like before I've had my coffee. There was actually no pods. I usually get up and I get a pod and have a coffee here, and then I go and I pump. And yeah, there was no pods this morning. So then I pumped and I went downstairs and yeah, got a Panera coffee. So there's a lot more subjects in life than those 5 subjects, and I'm not in a box of teaching just those subjects. So we learn everything. And again, moved around. So the other thing that I wanted to bring up was the library. Like, we love the library. I think just going into a library and letting your children pick out a lot of books, that is one opportunity for your children to be able to, like, just express, like, all the things that they're interested in wanting to learn. So if they go and they want to get 10 books, just let them get the 10 books. And then some of them, you'll be like, well, you don't read all of them. Well, that's how they're going to learn things, because they're going to open the book and they're going to be like, yeah, that doesn't really interest me. And they'll really decide what does interest them. We try not to do twaddle books once they are established readers, like books like Diary of the Wimpy Kid or Dork Diaries, or I'm trying to think of the other names of them, Captain Underpants, like those types of books that we try not to do. Actually, the kids usually don't even want to read those books because there's so many good books out there. The only time that they might question it is if it's like on display for like the reading. They'll be like, oh, what's this about? But then usually when they read the back, they're like, yeah, that's stupid. Anyway, I think probably just because they are so used to reading engaging things that are, and there's nothing, I don't want to say that there's things wrong with those types of books. Like, everyone likes a fun read every once in a while. I just don't want to be like the main source of something. But just like, I wouldn't read a book that was like inappropriate, that was like overly like sexualized or overly violent. Like, I wouldn't want to read that for myself. For the same thing with my children. Like, I wouldn't want them to, they kind of know, like, as far as choices go, like, I don't want to read something that's going to have like all this stuff in it. Yeah. my glasses are super crooked today. Actually, I had my husband, I have other glasses, but these ones are more comfortable. I have other glasses, but they're not here. They are at, I got them adjusted. And you know when you first put glasses on, how like your sight is off a little bit for a couple days? So I'm kind of waiting until I have a moment where I don't have to focus, and if I get a little bit of a headache, it's not that big of a deal to put my new glasses on. I got them before we actually came here. I've actually had them for a while, but I got them adjusted right before I came here, thinking that I would wear them after. Anyway, yeah, so just having them go to the library and choose and pick whatever they want from the library is amazing. And so I was going to go on to something else. There's so many resources at a library too. There's like DVDs. A lot of the libraries have like different resources online as well. You just have to ask your own library. There's also a system called an interlibrary loan system. So if there's a book that you want for your homeschool or for your education, you can ask the librarian how to go about interlibrary loaning something, and you can usually get that. Yes, I am like crouched down at the table so that I can do this, because it's really it's really odd. I don't have any stands. I don't have whatever. Anyway, I'm here. I'm talking about homeschooling. So many questions about homeschool, because I think that you guys see that things are different, and you're like, okay, how's that going to work now that we're here, right? Especially like if I'm not present. So also my older daughters don't have an issue like helping children find resources, and then my younger children who are doing like learning to read and that type of stuff, they are more they're more local. So I'm able to help them. And my daughter, who is down here, she said she has absolutely no issue. It keeps them busy. They enjoy doing it. So she has absolutely no issue trying to help them with homeschool. She actually made them like some little pages. And yeah, I ended up, when I went home, I ended up bringing down my laptop and my printer so that I'll be able to go over there and do my laptop and printer type stuff if needed. And I like will save things on my phone that I can go later print off. So other resources that we use a lot, we have Audible, and I had it on like just on my phone. What I need to do is now I do have, what are those little like Bluetooth speakers or whatever. I bought another one, so I'm gonna have my girls who have phones have them download Audible onto their phones. I'll probably have to have them sign in, that type of stuff. Haven't got that far yet, but they are working on a couple books there. They're working on God Smuggler and what is the name of that? Oh, it's about little kids and their father. I can't think, guys. I'm sorry. Yes, Railway Children. I think it's Railway Children, something like that. It's a really cute story. We've been working on it for a while. So they have that, and then they have a bunch of books that are like lined up that we're gonna read. So excited for all of those. And so Audible audiobooks are absolutely wonderful, because that's also something that you can turn like an audiobook on in the house while people are coloring or drawing or doing all the things that they need to do or want to do, right? Like they could be working on a handicraft and listening to an audiobook at the same time. So that's really a blessing. Another thing that would be auto is we like to try to use different sources, because some of my children are book learners, like they like to read things. Some are visual, so we like to use videos, and some are audio learners. So we like to use all those resources. Actually, there was a study recently that I read that was saying that book learning is like, people who learn best from books is like in the lowest percentile compared to the other sources of media on ways people learn. So we like to bring it all in. So other things we do is we listen to podcasts. So there is some podcasts that we enjoy. We like A Real Cool History for Kids, God's Big World, 1,000 Hours Outside. That's more for, that's something that I would listen to like with them in the room, or maybe some of the older kids might want to listen to. It talks more about like how being outside helps with brain development. It also talks about like topics of the day as far as like media and what that's doing to your brain, more like research type things. A lot of times she has interviews with authors that are on, and they're just really a blessing. It's really good information. So that trying to think of some other ones. I actually had a list written out, and last time I was talking to you guys, I had my list, and then I had breast milk in my pocket. This is like the real life, right? So I had breast milk in my pocket, and it opens at 7 o'clock, and it was just like a little bit before 7, so I didn't want to like, there's like a fridge right in the room. So what I did is I had gone to like drop it off, and it wasn't quite time, so I came back and thought I'd take a minute to film videos, and then somebody came in here. I saw that it was after 7 o'clock, and I went and brought that back, and then I went back to the room for a minute to check on the baby, and yeah, totally forgot my list of things. I don't know if I can link podcast down in the description box. Let me see if I can try to do that, because there is a bunch of great resources out there. Paws and Tales is fun for like the younger generation. It just has good stories about like character qualities. We like that one. I'm trying to think. There's a couple. I think it's like Teach for Science. There is a science one. Oh, American History Tellers. That is really good. We listened to. I started that. Remember when we went to Campobello Island? I was looking for. What was I looking for? I was looking for something on Roosevelt. And so that actually had a lot of good history type things for Roosevelt. And those are about an hour long-ish. So yeah, you might be interested in those. I'm not sure if you would be interested in those or not, but those go really in depth for middle to older kids. So if you're interested in that, yeah. Cool. So I stopped. They brought my breakfast in. Here at Children's, nursing moms get meals provided because we're providing food for the baby, which is super nice. And they have some fairly healthy meals. So I have pancakes and bacon and a fruit cup, like real fruit, not. Isn't that nice? And then they have smoothies. So I have a blueberry smoothie. In case y'all wanted to know what I was having for breakfast this morning. Yeah, so if you have any questions about homeschooling or what we're doing for homeschooling, feel free to ask. But I think just the conception of teaching our children to love learning, once you do that, then they're, not that they're on their own, but like they're not going to stop learning if you raise them that way. If they're not taught just to like memorize facts and then like repeat those back to you, if they're taught to love learning and enjoy learning new things all the time, it's sometimes overwhelming because of how much information they want to learn at one time. So you won't have an issue at all trying to do that, and then getting out there and getting experiences. And yeah, it's really exciting to be learning with my children this way. Yeah, I'm probably really annoying people with my crooked glasses. Oh well. They're comfortable. Honestly, my husband stepped on them probably 2 years ago now. He stepped on my glasses. I had like just got them, and he stepped on them in like a week. We were like moving bedrooms, so we had the mattress on the floor, and I put my glasses next to the mattress, and he stepped on them like reaching over for something, and he stepped on my glasses like right after, and I was like, whatever, they still work, they're still comfortable. But now I'm in the hospital. Sometimes occasionally I'll sleep with my glasses on, so I think it's making like this a lot worse. And the reason I do that is I am totally blind without my glasses. Yeah, I cannot see a darn thing. So I kind of get like panicky, like if something's going on with Azariah that like It's gonna take me a minute to put my slippers and my glasses on. If like, I don't know, it's just me. Or maybe I'm like, okay, I'll wait here to see like if the mask is going to be okay or if whatever is going to be okay. And then if not, I'll get up again. And then I totally fall asleep. Yeah. Real life mom to 15 with baby in the NICU. Yeah. Crooked glasses. I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day. And I hope this helps you understand a little bit more of how homeschooling in our world works. And if this doesn't work for you, that's okay. We can be different people. I'm totally okay with that. But it's what's working for us for now. So hope you all have a blessed day.